Somewhere in your garden shed, there's a box. Maybe two. Full of gadgets you bought because they looked incredible online. Little robots, soil sensors, things that plugged into an app. You used them for a few months. Then they stopped working, or you stopped caring, or both. And now they just sit there. Good money. Wasted. Today I'm counting down 7 gadgets being sold hard right now that most people are going to regret before 2027. We're going 7 down to 1. The further we go, the worse it gets. Number 1 is the one that genuinely shocks people. And once you hear it, you'll understand why. Number 7. Budget robot lawn mowers. The idea behind a robot lawnmower is genuinely brilliant. You set it up once. It goes out on a schedule. It cuts the grass while you do something else. You come back to a tidy lawn and you didn't have to touch a thing. That's a real quality of life upgrade, and I understand completely why people want it. Here's the problem. The ones that actually work, the ones from reputable manufacturers with proper navigation systems and real build quality, are expensive. And the budget versions, the ones priced to feel accessible, are not the same product. They share a name and a concept, but the engineering underneath is completely different. Budget robot mowers typically rely on a perimeter wire. You bury a wire around the edge of your lawn, and the mower uses it to know where to stop. That wire corrodes. It gets nicked by other garden tools. It develops faults, and the mower starts behaving erratically, cutting the wrong areas, getting stuck, refusing to dock. When that happens, you have to dig up the wire, find the fault, and fix it. That's not the effortless lawn experience you were sold. And then there's the support problem. Budget mower brands come and go. Models get discontinued after a year or two. When your blade assembly wears out or the charging dock stops working, you go looking for replacement parts and find they don't exist anymore, or they cost almost as much as the original unit. I had a client call me frustrated because her robot mower had stopped returning to its dock and the company's support line had been discontinued. The mower itself was physically fine. The ecosystem around it was gone. If you want a robot mower, it's a category that can deliver. But you have to spend properly to get a product that will last and be supported. The budget versions are where the regret lives. That one at least has a failure you can see coming. Number 6 is different, because it works fine for a while, and then starts quietly feeding you the wrong information. And you don't know it's happening. Number 6. Smart soil sensor systems. A sensor that sits in your soil and tells you exactly when to water, what nutrients your plants need, and whether the pH is off. That sounds like the future. And the science behind soil telemetry is real. Commercial farms use it. Professional growers rely on it. The technology exists and it works at the right level of quality. Consumer soil sensors are not that. Here's what actually happens. You push the sensor into the ground, you connect it to the app. For the first few months it gives you readings and you follow them and things seem fine. Then, somewhere between 6 months and a year in, the sensor starts to drift. The accuracy degrades. It's still connected, the app still updates, the numbers still look like data, they've just stopped being correct. And this is the dangerous part. You don't know it's happening. The sensor looks fine, the app looks fine, but it's telling you the soil is dry when it isn't, so you water more. Or it's telling you nutrients are low when they're not, so you fertilize more. Overwatering is the number 1 way people kill plants. Over-fertilizing burns roots. You're following the app's instructions and causing the exact problems you were trying to prevent. The gadget is actively working against you, and it looks like it's working perfectly. The fix costs nothing. Push your finger into the soil about 2 inches. If it feels moist, don't water. If it feels dry, water. That test has been reliable for as long as people have been growing plants. It doesn't drift. It doesn't need firmware updates. And it costs nothing. At least with a soil sensor, the only thing at risk is your plants. Number 5 puts your whole irrigation system on the line, and the failure usually happens when you're not home to catch it. Number 5. App-controlled smart irrigation controllers. Controlling your sprinkler system from your phone sounds like a genuinely useful upgrade. Set schedules remotely. Get alerts when a zone fails. Let the system skip a watering cycle because rain is forecast. These are real features, and when they work, they're convenient. The problem is how these controllers work. They're not standalone devices. They depend on an app running on a server that the manufacturer controls. They depend on your home Wi-Fi staying connected to a cloud service. They depend on firmware versions staying compatible with app versions. That's a lot of things that have to stay aligned, and they frequently don't. The specific failure pattern I've seen more than once goes like this. A manufacturer gets acquired, or their funding runs out, or they simply decide to move on from a product line. The cloud infrastructure that the controller relies on gets shut down or stops being maintained. Your physical controller, the hardware, is perfectly fine, but it can no longer receive commands without the cloud connection. It runs whatever schedule it last had, or it stops running entirely. People have come home from a week away to find their lawn completely unwatered in July because an app update broke the connection. Others have come home to find their system had been running nonstop because it got stuck in an error state. The hardware is fine. The dependencies killed it. What actually works long-term is a quality dumb timer, physical dial or simple button programming, no Wi-Fi, no app. No company needs to stay solvent for it to work. It runs on a schedule and keeps running on that schedule regardless of what happens in Silicon Valley. If you want smart features, they exist. But look specifically for controllers with local control, meaning they work on your home network without any cloud dependency. Search for that term. It narrows the field considerably to the products worth buying. Those 3 gadgets all drain your wallet. Number 4 is in a different category. It doesn't fail. It doesn't break down. It just flatly doesn't do the job you bought it for. And it's on every garden center shelf right now. Number 4. Solar-powered ultrasonic pest repellers. These things are everywhere. Stakes you push into the ground, solar-powered, no batteries, no chemicals, claim to emit ultrasonic pulses that drive away moles, squirrels, deer, rabbits, and basically every pest that's ever bothered a garden. They come in multi-packs. They're cheap. They sound perfect. I'll be direct with you. The research on these is not good. University agricultural extension programs and independent pest researchers have tested ultrasonic repellers repeatedly in real outdoor conditions. The consistent finding is that there is no meaningful reduction in pest activity. Animals investigate the sound, figure out nothing bad happens when it plays, and habituate to it within days. After that, it's just a solar-powered spike in your garden doing nothing. This isn't a quality issue where some brands work and others don't. The mechanism itself doesn't hold up under testing. The animal learns the sound is harmless and ignores it. That's true of the expensive ones and the cheap ones. What actually deters pests is a surprise they can't get used to. Motion-activated sprinklers work well for this. The unexpected burst of water is something animals don't habituate to the way they do a sound. Physical barriers around vegetable beds work. Strong, scented companion plants work for certain pests. These all have mechanisms the animal can't simply learn to ignore. If a product says ultrasonic and solar-powered and claims to cover a large area with no maintenance, put it back on the shelf. At least that one just cost you the purchase price. The next 3 can cause actual damage to your plants, your wallet, or your peace of mind. Number 3 is something a lot of people are bringing inside right now, thinking they found the secret to growing herbs and vegetables all year round. Number 3, consumer LED. Grow light kits. Indoor, growing with grow lights works. Commercial vertical farms produce real food with it. Home growers who understand light science get great results. I want to be clear about that before I explain the problem. The consumer kits, the ones marketed as countertop herb gardens, the ones sold as plug-and-play solutions for growing anything indoors, are a different thing entirely. They're designed to look good on a kitchen counter. The light panel is integrated. The whole thing looks clean and modern. What they are not designed around is the light intensity and spectrum that plants actually need to produce healthy growth. Here's what happens when a plant doesn't get enough light. It doesn't die right away. It stretches. It reaches toward the insufficient light source and grows tall and thin and weak. The leaves pale out. Herbs lose their flavor because the oils that make basil taste like basil and thyme taste like thyme are produced in response to light stress. Stress that an underpowered consumer grow light doesn't create. You end up with leggy, tasteless herbs, and you can't figure out why. You adjust the watering, you change the soil. The problem is the light, and you never land on it because the light is still on and the plants are still technically alive. Then there's the electricity cost. These lights run 12 to 16 hours a day. Add that up over a month. For most people growing a few culinary herbs, the energy cost plus the cost of the unit doesn't come close to the value of what you're growing. You'd spend less just buying herbs at the grocery store. If a south-facing window is available, use it. Most culinary herbs want direct sun and will do far better in a good window than under an underpowered countertop grow light. If you're serious about indoor growing and want to do it properly, look for lights that list their ppf-D value. That stands for photosynthetic photon flux density, which is the actual measure of usable light for plants. Consumer lifestyle kits rarely list this because the numbers wouldn't sell the product. Horticultural supply stores carry lights that do. That's where to look. That one has a straightforward fix. Number 2 is trickier, because the product feels like it's helping, and you only find out it wasn't when something goes wrong and you've already been following bad advice. Number 2, AI plant identification and care apps. The plant identification function on these apps, take a photo, get an ID in seconds, is actually impressive. I'll give them that. If you find an unknown plant in your garden and want to know what it is, these apps do a solid job. That's not the problem. The problem is the subscription-gated care advice. The upsell, the premium tier that tells you your plant has a nutrient deficiency, recommends a specific treatment, diagnoses a disease from a photo, and delivers it all in confident, specific language that makes it sound like expert advice. It isn't expert advice. It's pattern matching against a general data set. And that data set knows nothing about your specific garden. It doesn't know your soil type, your local climate, your water hardness, how much sun that corner of your garden actually gets, or what you applied to that bed 3 weeks ago. It gives you confident-sounding recommendations based on what a plant with similar symptoms looked like in photos from all over the world. That recommendation may be completely wrong for your situation. Wrong diagnosis followed by the wrong treatment can make a problem significantly worse. Applying fertilizer to a plant that's already stressed from root rot, because the app said the yellowing leaves looked like nitrogen deficiency, can kill it. The app doesn't know what it doesn't know about your garden. It just gives you an answer. And then there's the business problem. These apps are typically funded by venture capital. They grow fast, they spend aggressively on marketing, and they depend on subscriber revenue to stay alive. Several apps in this category have already changed hands, pivoted their model, or quietly disappeared. When that happens, your saved plants, your care history, your reminders, all of it goes with them. You are paying monthly for something with no guarantee of continuity. Your local cooperative extension service publishes free, regionally specific plant care guides written by actual horticulturalists for your specific climate zone. It's not a pretty app. It doesn't send you push notifications. It is far more reliable for actual plant care advice than any subscription app on your phone. Alright, we're at number 1. This one surprises people every single time I bring it up. It's not that it doesn't work. It usually works exactly as advertised. The problem is something most people never see coming until they've already bought it, set it up, and lived with it for a full season. Number 1. Smart planters with built-in screens and app ecosystems. A self-contained planter with a small screen on the front. It monitors moisture levels, light exposure, and nutrient status. It shows you exactly what your plant needs on the display. It connects to an app that sends you reminders. It looks beautiful, modern, clean, considered. It's the kind of thing that makes a great gift. It's the kind of thing you see on a design-forward website and think, yes, that's exactly what my balcony needs. Here's what most people don't know before they buy it. These planters are closed ecosystems. They're designed to work with specific proprietary soil pods, specific proprietary nutrient cartridges, a specific app. And that's intentional. It's a business model. Sell the hardware at an accessible price. Make the ongoing revenue on the consumables. The same way a printer makes money on ink cartridges. That model works fine when the company is healthy, growing, and committed to the product. The problem is that the smart planter market has attracted a lot of startups who raised money on the promise of the category, built a beautiful product, and then ran into the hard economics of selling physical hardware with proprietary consumables at scale. Several products in this category have already been discontinued. When that happens, the pods stop being produced. The app stops being updated. You have an expensive, non-standard planter that requires components you can no longer buy. The hardware is fine. The ecosystem is dead. Before you buy anything that runs on proprietary pods or cartridges, ask yourself one question. How long will this supply chain exist? If the answer depends on one company staying interested in this product line, that's the risk you're taking. The alternative is a ceramic pot, a bag of quality potting mix, and a moisture meter with a dial. No app, no Wi-Fi, no batteries. It will outlast every smart planter on the market. It will never get a fatal app update. The plants will do just as well. Probably better, because standard potting mix is better suited to most plants than proprietary pod media. Your garden doesn't need a Wi-Fi connection. It needs the right soil, the right light, and someone who pays attention. Look, if you've already got one or two of these at home, don't panic. Most of them are fixable. Some just mean making a smarter call on the next purchase instead of trying to undo the last one. This isn't about guilt. It's about what to look for next time. The gardens that hold up are built around the basics: good soil, right light, plants that suit the climate, a bit of regular attention. Technology earns its place when it genuinely makes that easier. When it doesn't, it ends up in the shed with everything else. Which one of these do you already have at home? And which one surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. I read all of them, and I genuinely want to know. If this saved you from at least one bad purchase, hit subscribe. There's a lot more of this coming. I'll see you in the next one.